Okay, we ready to go? Great.
This time?
Sorry?
Good this time?
Yeah, we're good.
No.
Good evening, everyone. Would you all rise with me for the pledge of allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Good evening. Welcome to the Town Council meeting on October 28th, 2025. Our first order of business this evening is a public hearing. I'm going to go ahead and make a motion to call the public hearing to order at 6:31 p.m. Can I get a second?
Second.
Got a second? Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa? Aye. Don?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. The public hearing is now open. So we have a public hearing this evening to solicit feedback from the community on some changes being made to our zoning ordinances, specifically chapter 140. These documents are available on our town webpage under agendas and minutes. We have a separate line item specifically for this public hearing where you'll be able to see all of the zoning amendments. I'm going to make an effort to summarize the five total significant changes, to summarize those for you, and then I'll open it up to the public if anyone has any questions or comments. We do have some members of the planning board here. Thank you all for being here this evening, and members of staff also here this evening to answer questions. So included in this kind of packet of many changes to chapter 140, we have first and foremost a change, and this is, I want to get the right page and chapter, sorry. Under chapter 140-77 C administration, changes have been made, changes are being proposed rather to the ordinance that will essentially make it so that if a new business wants to open in our B1 or B2 district and let me get the language right. For any non-residential change in use that is equally or less intense than the existing use, the major or minor site plan process that the planning board usually goes through, that process could be waived by the planning board in those instances. And I personally very much see this as a huge positive change for the community. I think it will make it'll make it easier for new businesses to come to town and make it a little bit less of a financial burden or a procedural burden for them. I'm looking to my friends in the audience and yeah, keep me honest. If I get anything wrong, please note that. The second change included in these zoning ordinances is we would now be allowing food trucks in South Berwick, only in designated areas and only with the approval of the town council, but that would be a new addition, again, promoting new business in town. The third is actually state mandated parking requirement, where, and this is the one I know I just asked you about it, but I'm not going to get it right. This is state mandated, and the shift is basically in our growth areas, shifting down from 2 parking spaces as a requirement to 1 for businesses in our growth areas. Residential only, thank you. The fourth one is some landscaping standards in growth areas with the changes, after the changes have been adopted in growth areas, only would parking areas require screening, landscape screening in our B1, or sorry, in our growth areas only. And then, what did I miss? Anything?
Chapter 140. Section 42, both of that one.
Oh, no, I know, I haven't got to that one, but I was just checking for landscaping, okay. And then the last one is a net new section related to wetlands, and this is something that chapter 40, section 42, wetlands, this is net new, as I mentioned. This is something that I think we very much have DiCarlo to thank for. I think we kind of had thought that we had some language in our ordinances to protect our wetlands, and DiCarlo found out that we didn't, and so we are implementing that. The goal is to implement that language here as well. I'm going to open it up to staff and planning board if there's anything you all would like to add or anything I missed. Okay. All right. I'd like to open up to the public. Anyone have any questions or comments on any of the proposed zoning amendment changes? Come on up.
So I'm Laura Eden, 26 Corey Drive, and I am also with the Conservation Commission, and I'm representing the Conservation Commission tonight. And we just want to offer our support for the new wetlands ordinance. We feel like it's something that we've needed for a long time. Some of the reasons we feel it's important is because wetlands in South Berwick support rare wildlife species, most notably blandings and spotted turtles, and our populations are regionally significant, not just state significant. Obviously, wetlands are important for protecting water quality and quantity, as well as mitigating flooding, which we're experiencing more of. Protecting wetlands will help protect the rural character of the town at a time when we are expecting more development. And the fourth is, I personally find the state regulations to be a little confusing. And I used to be in the business, so I'm kind of wondering if other people have trouble too. So I think having ordinances regarding this written in language that our planning board understands and that the community can understand can make this much simpler. We won't have to depend quite so much on the DEP to respond when we can take care of it ourselves. So that's it. Thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else in the audience? I'll go ahead.
Paul Steinhauer from Hill Drive. For chapter 140, the section 77 site plan review, while past experience tells me anything that we can do to cut the red tape is great, but I did have a question in regards to the new section 140-77C administration paragraph 3, where it says non-residential change in use that is equally or less intense. How is intensity quantified? And I know it does say as determined by the planning board, but I sense that since this is sort of a squishy term, it may provide an opening to make it more difficult than the intent is. So I was wondering if someone could comment on how is intensity determined? Thank you.
It's a great question. I can provide some examples. I know that the planning board has shared, and I'm wondering if anyone from the planning board has any thoughts on this as well. But just like as an example, you know, if it's currently a restaurant, you know, a less intensive use would be like a retail store. Kind of, I think that's a fair example to go from restaurant to retail store. But please share with us what you're.
So that's exactly right, and this is a waiver. A waiver is not a right. Unlike other provisions that says if you do X, then you absolutely would get Y. This just allows a little bit more flexibility for those situations where people are coming into existing structures within our B1 district, and it provides flexibility for the planning board to determine, hey, intensity. We're noting it as intensity for this one because it requires less parking spaces and the traffic count is clearly less than before of the other use. This does provide flexibility not only to the planning board, but by the applicant as well, because the applicant can then make the case to the planning board. This doesn't get them out of presenting anything to the board. They still will come in for a concept plan, and concept plan can be drawn by hand or what have you. And you do your presentation before the board, and then the board will make the decision if it's equally or less intense based on the data that you've given them. It's intentionally written this way in order to give flexibility to the board, because if you start giving exact numbers, then that takes out all of the flexibility and just becomes a regular standard. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and the other thing I wanted to add is one of the reasons that we're looking at doing this is just because it can be very expensive to go through some of the steps for the existing site plan. So if it makes sense, we want to have the option to be able to waive it for, you know, when we've got vacancies like the pharmacy over here, that, you know, there's lots of businesses that would like to go in there, but if they have to go, if they're trying to lease a space and have to go through an expensive process to even do a lease, that can be cost prohibitive. So if we have the option to see, oh, hey, you know, this seems like it'll be a no-brainer and it's a win-win, we have the option to waive so that they can, you know, don't have to go through that additional expense that would require us to quantify some of the things that we would, you know, to do traffic studies, the other things that would necessarily be expensive, but then quantify if they meet, a certain criteria.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely. And for other businesses, if you want to go from one standard to the other and have even more flexibility. So, for instance, there's talk of making, restaurants just P is permitted. You would change it on the use chart rather than changing it in this provision. If you just don't want all the red tape for this use going to this use. And so that's how we would handle that. And we do actually ask that people offer those suggestions so we can then begin tackling those. But this is in the interim, it gives us like an escape valve in order to help businesses come in.
Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Anyone else have any questions or comments on the proposed changes to the chapter 140? Anyone on the phone? Council, questions, comments? No?
Do you want us to save our comments for when it's on the agenda, or do you want us to speak now?
When would you like to speak?
Tim, when would it be best?
The agenda.
Oh, so say it's really great.
This item, please.
All right, last chance, anyone else? Okay, I will make a motion at 6:41 PM to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0. Thank you, everyone. We'll move into our regular town council business. We have 4 counselors present, and I will just note that this is the last time that these 4 counselors will be present for a town council meeting. Our first order of business is approving our minutes from our public hearing on October 14th. Does anyone have any proposed edits to those?
I have a couple.
Okay.
Edits to the public hearing minutes. In the 6th paragraph, Kathy Bousquet's name is spelled incorrectly. It should be Kathy, and then Bousquet is Bousquet. And then in the 7th paragraph, Pat's name should only have 1 T.
Thank you. Any other edits to the minutes? All right, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt our public hearing minutes from October 14th, 2025 as amended.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. And up next, we have our minutes from our council meeting on October 14th. Any edits to these?
Yes.
Okay.
In the 4th paragraph, it says that we entered the public hearing at 6:47. We actually entered the public hearing at 6:33 PM. And then following that, it would be missing documentation of when the public hearing was actually closed, which was at 6:47.
Thank you. I noticed that as well when I was scanning for them.
And this is not a correction, just a suggestion. Under new business number 5, I would suggest adding historic district before ordinance, just for clarification purpose of what ordinances we voted to allow changes to.
Great, thank you. I will go ahead and make a motion to adopt the town council meeting minutes from October 14th, 2025 with the listed amendments.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Up next, we have our treasurer's warrants. I'll make a motion to sign our treasurer's warrant dated October 22nd, 2025 in the amount of $128,053.44.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Questions, comments?
I wish they were all this small.
I know, this one seems weirdly small.
Mhm.
All right, all those in favor of signing the treasurer's warrant, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to move public comment up. Actually, sorry, I'm gonna make a motion to move reports and presentations down until after new business. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Was there discussion of a particular reason?
Oh, I'm sorry, I did not, you're correct. I'm proposing this reports and presentations to move it down later into the meeting because our report and presentation tonight is the giving of a plaque to Jeff, and I just wanna move it to the end of the meeting, so that all of the necessary people can be here, so.
Sorry, I ruined that.
Merry Christmas. Nice work.
I think he knew that was happening, but probably wasn't surprised. Okay, everyone's clear on the motion and why, okay, all those in favor say aye, Jeff.
Aye.
Melissa.
Aye.
John. No? Okay, motion passes 3-1, really?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0. So to be clear, we are just moving reports and presentations down later into the meeting so we can give Jeff his plaque, and we are waiting for his family to arrive. Okay, we are now at public comments. Is there anyone that would like to speak on anything that's not on the agenda tonight? Okay, anyone on the phone? Hi, Pat. Go ahead, you can come off mute and announce the soup supper.
Sorry, that's what I don't like about Zoom. First of all, I am not great representing Great Works Regional Land Trust. If that's what you're seeing as my name, I don't know how to change that. I'm representing myself. I live on Brattle Street, Pat Robinson. And all I want to do is comment that Caleb Mende a few weeks ago helped me out in the town forest to cut a tree that came down over a trail. You could still get under it, but I felt it was quite dangerous if it started slipping a little bit more. So he came in with me and cut the tree. So I just want to Caleb Mende of Red Squirrel Arbor Care. So just want to thank him.
Great, thanks, Pat. Anyone else on the phone? On Zoom? Okay, all right, we can move into unfinished business number 1. So we have this evening, so I think the community is probably aware, our previous library director had moved on to another position, and so we have recently been hiring and looking to fill that position, and we have Melissa Robinson here this evening, who has been selected to be our new library director here in South Berwick, and so we thank Melissa for being here this evening. And I think, Tim, you'd like her, I'll hand it over to you, actually.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. So with this process, we had 17 people apply. We assembled a committee, it included friends of the library, staff, the assistant town manager, the current library director. They interviewed 5 of the top 5 applicants, narrowed it down to 2. We then reassembled the committee that I added myself. We went through with that and interviewed those 2 positions. It came down to a unanimous vote by the committee to recommend Melissa Robinson to me to appoint. I concur. Melissa comes very qualified. I'll let her kind of expand on that. She's authored several books. She's developed 5-year strategic plans for library services. She's launched Creative Lab Makerspace. She's just done a lot. She holds a master's degree in library and information science. She lives right close by to us. We're very thrilled with her. And my recommendation to the council is to confirm her appointment this evening. I'd like to ask Melissa to come up and kind of introduce herself to the town council, please.
Come on.
Thank you all for having me, and thank you to Tim and Jennifer. The hiring process was very pleasant. So my name is Melissa Robinson. I've been a librarian for 22 years. 18 of those I spent at the Peabody Institute Library in Massachusetts, where I held a variety of positions, including teen librarian, I was a branch manager, and eventually I was a library director there. I have experience with human resources, with designing services for children, teens, and adults, with strategic planning, as Tim mentioned, and with developing community partnerships. I have a real passion for public libraries. I wrote a book called Transforming Libraries, Building Communities, as well as some articles and chapters in other books. And I'm excited to work with the South Berwick community at the library.
Great. Thank you so much. It's so wonderful to have you here. Does anyone have any questions or anything for Melissa?
As long as we keep the cake pans, I'm all set.
I'm in on the cake pans.
I got it in twice this year. Thank you.
Nothing.
Thank you.
Well, Melissa, thank you so much for being here this evening. I will go ahead and make a motion to confirm Melissa Robinson as the new library director in South Berwick.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Congratulations. Thank you, Melissa. December 1st.
There will be, Melissa's gonna give her notice where she's working, so it's 30-day notice, and then she'll be coming to us when she gets, closer to starting. We'll figure out a swearing-in ceremony date and time and open it up to the public and get her sworn in and make it all official and welcome her aboard as we do all our team members.
Great.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you again.
All right, moving on to unfinished business number 2, appointment of new library advisory board members, but I think we'd like to,
Madam Chair, motion to enter into executive session MRSA 405.6A personnel.
second. Just for discussion, the council just wants to quickly discuss, board appointments, before we take action on those. So we have a motion, on the table. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. We will be very brief, I promise. All right, thank you, everyone. I'll make a motion for us to come out of executive session.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. All right, we are back in regular business. We are at unfinished business number 2, appointment of new library advisory board members. So at our ahead of our last council meeting, the council interviewed 2 individuals for the library advisory board, Anna Sorleth and Kathy Crafts. We have 2 open terms on the library advisory board, one to expire June 30th, 2026, and the other one to expire June 30th, 2028. I will go ahead and make a motion to appoint Anna Soros to the library advisory board with a term ending June 30th, 2028.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. I will go ahead and make a motion to appoint Kathy Crafts to the library advisory board with a term ending June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
No.
Melissa?
No.
John?
No.
No. Motion fails 0-4. Moving on to number 3, appointment of new zoning board of appeals member. So similarly, we interviewed 2 members for the library advisory board at our last council meeting. We also interviewed Tom Collins for the zoning board of appeals. I will go ahead and make a motion to appoint Tom Collins to the zoning board of appeals with a term ending June 30th, 2026.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Just for discussion on this, because I know Mr. Collins, you're here this evening. We have a motion on the table to appoint you to a term ending, just to fill the seat, and then we will consider your reappointing you come June. So there's discussion on the table. Any other questions, anything? All those in favor of appointing Tom Collins to the zoning board of appeals, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. To those members who have been recently appointed to boards by the town council this evening, our town administration will be in touch to come in and do swearing in and all of the necessary paperwork. All right, we are now at unfinished business number 4, update on town hall renovations. Would you like to start or would you?
I will.
Great.
So start with the contract first. After having the new contract with the new attorney, the contract with the new attorneys for the last 3 weeks, they emailed me this evening just before I came here, said the contract, we met mutually agreed terms, contracts almost completed. I was on the phone negotiating with Mike Dean, the vice president. Charter Brothers, we negotiated the last 4 items we needed to negotiate. So the contract is ready. They're gonna send me the draft, and hopefully we'll have the next draft next week. Have that ready to go and have that get signed, and which starts the project. In doing so, we've gotten to 95 to 100% with the drawings. And with those drawings comes the final bid prices for the project. So we got those in. We met on last Thursday. Myself, Chair Cook, and the assistant town manager, Charter Brothers, Hope Point, and we went over all the prices. And since the beginning, we've been the subcontractors through Charter Brothers bids have been coming in or budgeted for. So now we have the actual hard numbers. The hard numbers are, we're ready to go to work, and we have 90 days to secure this, or 60 days actually to secure this. The subcontractors have all bid their final bids. So after doing the whole piece of it, we originally were 100,000 over, we're now 300,000 over. So why are we over on the project? So it could be, it's a lot of things. It's not just tariffs. It's not just the uncertainty of the economy. It is the cost of getting other materials. Some stuff we kind of went a little long with the contract negotiations. We could have got that a little, some of that might have helped. So we're now 300,000 with the high crunch numbers over the price of the contract. So we're faced at doing some figurative engineering on how to budget this project, because what's happened with for instance, is the HVAC system. It originally was bid out through Oak Point when they started the project at $30 a foot. Then the bids came in at $60 a foot now, and they probably will be in realistically $90 a foot by the time we start to install them in 8 or 10 months from now, doing the project. So we're a little over budget, and, you know, we kind of had talked about that. We talked about that as a group when we were in the uncertainty of the future going forward with the change of elections and so forth. There's many factors to that. So myself, Jan, Mallory, put our heads together to try to come up with a workable solution for the town and community. The problem we've had in South Berwick for many years, and I'll go back to the boilers, the windows, in the building, is what we've always done is when we've got to this point, we said, okay, let's just cut the budget project and downsize the project. And then, for instance, in the boilers, when we were supposed to change all the heat over to all hot water heat, we left half hot water heat and then the other half steam boilers. And, you know, 20 years later, that cost us $80,000. So I'm not an advocate for, you know, stepping over a dime to, you know, stepping over a dollar to pick up a dime. So we talked about some innovative ideas. We banged around every opportunity of how we could make this work, and I'll turn it over to the council chair so you can present what we kind of thought several ideas might be.
I'll just echo what Tim said. I think the project team, which really has included, as you mentioned, Charters Brothers, Oak Point, and then Jen, Tim, and myself, have met a number of times over the last couple of months and have really, I think we have all very much kind of stretched our imaginations to try to come up with creative ways to modify the project, to complete something a little bit differently, to try to get us under budget. And I think the reality is that the original estimate that we had for this project, we got in August 2024-ish. And a year and some change later, the cost of doing business is just more now a year or so later. And so I really just want to emphasize like how much all of the parties involved we really tried and really pushed ourselves. And I really am impressed with the work done by Charters Brothers and Oak Point and stuff to try to get us back to like as close as we possibly can. And I think we've kind of all just kind of come to this conclusion that as it stands today, if we complete the project in its entirety, it's going to be more than what we had originally budgeted by, we're expecting around 300,000. I think that, do you want me to go ahead and share our kind of proposed solution?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that the really only proposal for this is it's up to the taxpayers, it's up to the residents. We're talking about an extra chunk of money to complete the project. And if we needed or wanted to expend those funds from our undesignated fund, we do require taxpayer approval on that. We would have to have a special town meeting in order to do that. And so it seems to me like the most appropriate solution would be for us to schedule a special town meeting where we can explain, and we will have a thorough presentation either at that special town meeting or prior, to kind of make sure everyone understands exactly what's being discussed and what's on the table. And we can kind of put it to the people of South Berwick. And the question more or less would be, do you want us to complete the project with the budget we've got, or complete what we can rather with the budget that we've got? Or would you authorize this to spend up to an additional amount from our undesignated fund to cover this gap? And that it's not a decision up to us. It will be a decision up to those people that come to the special town meeting. That seems like our only real avenue. And in either case, you know, it's the will of the people, basically.
Yeah, so, you know, where we're at, we have gone line by line, looked at every part of the project, and I mean everything. We had eliminated the shrubbery out front. We're not gonna redo the walks.
Later.
The elevator, but kind of canceled that out. You know, and we were looking, and then last week, Old Point sent me a thing, said, how about if we, instead of redoing all the floors, just sand them and revarnish the floors and paint the doors? And I don't think that's what was the intent of people, to cut this project to that point. And we're still over budget, and at that point, we're talking about potentially, we need to find 300,000. And that's potentially, the big cut is not doing the third floor, so, along with the bushes and the shrubs and the walkway and the floors and the doors, and now we're gonna cut out the third floor, so. I just don't see that as a practical approach to doing this, because we're gonna end up someday in 10 years from now doing what we've done, what I was been faced with since I've been manager, is redoing projects because they were, kind of skimped upon, I guess. So I think what we're looking for is to have the council have a special town meeting and ask public if we could, just authorize an amount, not take money out of the undesignated fund, but authorize an amount up to a certain amount. That if we run short on a project, we could take that money, the council would authorize the expenditure out of the undesignated fund. We're not talking about spending the money, we're not talking about if we don't need it, then we won't take it. It would be just simply approval ahead of time to say, if we run short, because the biggest problem we're facing is even if we do make all these cuts now, we got 15 months to go with a 100-year-old building. And reality, we're not gonna find other stuff, that's not reality. And you know that, all of you have been,
We presented that to the public in the beginning, that this was gonna be a risk going in.
right,
Anytime you open up an old building.
and we've already found a couple things, some asbestos in the ceilings that can have to be removed. But we have some money set aside for that in the contract. So that's really what the proposal would be, is we wouldn't be asking to hand over, increase the cost of the project, to do anything. It's just to give us a contingency that allows us, if we find out there are other things, and we are $300,000 over, so the town would approve to allow the council to draw off the undesignated fund to a certain amount. And that locks the amount in, it provides us the ability to do the project the right way, the correct way, and not have to come back 5 or 10 years from now and ask for more. Jen, anything you want to add?
The only thing I'd like to add is the undesignated funds coming into this fiscal year was roughly 9 million. We did take out 1.4 million for this current budget to help get the ambulance going, and 1.3 million anticipated for the town hall project, leaving us at about 6.5 million. We have not had the audit completed for last year, but that gives us enough wiggle room to take out a little bit more money for this project and not have it hit the taxpayers' bills at the end of the year.
So the one question that we're gonna have to be prepared to answer is, and I can see it being asked because I would ask it. I'm asking it now. What's gonna prevent us from coming back 8 months from now and saying, oops, and having another special town meeting? Are we going to? You know what I'm saying? That's a question I'd ask if I was sitting out there. Okay, have your meeting. Yes, we'll give you $500,000 in a contingency fund. Someone's gonna ask, because I would, what are you gonna do in 6 months? And you're gonna come back and ask for another 200,000.
That's a great question. Councilor James, that's a great question. So the answer is that we spent about an hour working with Charter Brothers to go through and develop a best case scenario and a worst case scenario. On the worst case scenario, we do have a contingency in the project, but with the 300,000 over, that would handle, basically take care of that. So we asked, what's the worst case scenario, best case scenario? Give us worst case scenario, because we're only gonna do this once, we're not gonna come back and ask. So the worst case scenario is 750,000. If we don't need it, we won't use it. But it would be to approve up to authorizing this town council to utilize up to 750,000 additional dollars in the event of an overrun on the project. The only reason we're here, we could probably make the cuts again. We can say, listen, we're not gonna put a new roof on this building, we're gonna be right back to where we were. I get that. But it seems for the best venue of the taxpayers, we've been putting the money in the undesignated fund for years for all these projects, all of these projects. That's exactly why we've been building up the undesignated fund. for other reasons as well. But we picked a number that we didn't wanna have to come back no matter what. So they really felt, you know, truly, they felt 300 to 500,000 was a real number. And we said, okay, so then let's go a little bit above that. So I'm using 750, but the council can certainly, and council chair, you can weigh in what you think for a number, but that's kind of the consensus number, because that's what we said. We don't want it, we're not coming back twice. It's gonna be a one-time thing, so make sure that you add everything in. So,
Yeah, I agree with that. There was lots of discussion about us being clear that we wanted this to be a one-time ask. And to make sure we kind of did the analysis to, maybe add a little bit more onto that number just to give us a little bit of wiggle room and flexibility. But just really want to emphasize the point that this, like, what we're discussing would just be an authorization if it was needed. And only what would be needed, and who knows, we could end up not needing to draw anything. But again, what we're discussing is calling a special town meeting to ask the community of South Berwick if you would authorize the town council to pull up to potentially 750,000 as needed out of the undesignated fund. And so I just really want to be really clear that what we're proposing here, this is not a town council decision. This is something where we would be putting it to the people to kind of decide on what do you want to see happen with this building. I think that's the only course of action, and it's what makes the most sense at this point too. So I think, Tim, I think what would be appropriate this evening is for us to ask you to work with legal to draft language for our special town meeting warrant. Is that fair? That's our next course of action.
Yep.
Council, do you guys have questions or comments or anything on this topic? Anything else?
A couple. So first of all, thank you for the work going into it. And so it's clear in my head, the council would end up picking the number, right? This would go, you would go get legal, and then the council will fill in the blanks with the number that they want.
well, no, you'll have to vote on the number. You have to by motion or vote, give me a number to go talk to council.
To go, all right, so that would happen tonight, is to pick a number.
Well, no, it doesn't have that time. You'll get the language and then present you the language, and then you can vote on that number when you get, and when you see the language, if you want, it doesn't matter.
I think what we need to do this evening is we just need to kind of take the official action to authorize the town manager to start working on the warrant article language. So we don't necessarily need to agree on the dollar amount
No.
in the evening, but before the warrant language is finalized for sure.
Yeah, because you have to finalize the warrant.
Yeah.
And then, so it's clear in my head, down the line, once it gets all done, the numbers picked, and we get it to and call a town meeting. The town meeting is not meant to have every person in town come and say, well, I think that you should have, just wall these windows over and save a buck here and save a buck
Right.
here. It's
Yeah.
literally about, will the town people accept this number and move forward, correct?
Mhm.
Excellent. All right, that's what I was just trying to wonder what kind of fun we have ahead.
Yeah. And I also just want to add to, and this is something that we're not necessarily like conveying super well this evening because we're just talking about it. But before the special town meeting that we're just talking about holding, there certainly will be a detailed presentation with Charters Brothers and Oak Point and the town where we talk about and lay out for the entire community. Okay, these are the items that we've determined that we absolutely can complete within the budget we have today, and kind of make it very clear for people of what specifically they would be voting on in a special town meeting. So there's more work to be done, more information to be shared with the public, for sure.
And then, sorry, one more thing. So, and then with the potential of a vote down, that would also be clear to the town as to what the town hall would look like if we stuck with the same thing, meaning like no elevator, no that type of thing. So, right, it wouldn't stop the project. It would just not be the full project that we had voted on, essentially.
Right, there'll be a lot of, we'll then have to make some hard choices. Do we not do the third floor? Do we not, will the outside not look any different? You know, because then we're back to, we have to prioritize what has to be done. So.
And part of the work that all of Charters Brothers, Oak Point and us have been doing is kind of keeping track of things that we think could be an easy thing to remove. Something that we could easily pull out of the scope of the project that was maybe not as much of a must have. And so that will all be presented when the time comes.
So time is of essence. The more time we sit by and wait, nothing's getting cheaper. How soon?
So here's the issue. We need to probably try to get this done for the first of the year because all our subcontract prices are only good till the first of the year. So that means we have to go back out to bid a second time. And the prices will come back more expensive the second time and we'll be in a worse boat. I don't make rules.
We gotta have a special town meeting prior to the January.
I would think we would need to try to do that. We only need 7 days notice for once you vote on the warrant, you can give us. We can give a 7-day notice, but probably a 14-day notice.
I think we should try to shoot for early December to try to hold it, just given holidays and stuff, like in the first couple of weeks of December.
And we'll see. I don't know how fast they get the warrant question. I'm hoping in a week.
Okay, so as far as action for this evening, we need to authorize you to draft the warrant language, the warrant language for the special town meeting warrant article. And then remind me again from there, kind of the timeline that then kicks off. So we'll authorize you to do that today, so then we'll have the language to discuss at our next town council meeting.
At your next town council meeting, should be, if we get it back in time, we should have the verbiage. And you should authorize the verbiage, the amount, and then you should probably pick a date to set a public hearing. For that event, and then the town special town meeting.
Okay.
You should be able to get that done, because it's an open floor town meeting. So you don't actually have to hold a public hearing, because it's an open floor town meeting, so they can ask questions that night. As opposed to if you don't have an open floor town meeting, if you have a closed meeting where you do ballot vote, you have to have a public hearing, it has to be further out, 10 days out. But we're doing an open floor, so I think the next meeting you would have to choose the approve the language and choose an amount to finalize that, and then approve all that as your next step.
Yep, and then set a date. And this meeting will have to be held at the high school now because of our voting location change, because this is a special town meeting. Right?
Yes.
So we'll need to make sure to coordinate with the school too, to make sure the auditorium will be available. Or the gym, or wherever they want us to go. Okay, so for this evening, I will go ahead and make a motion to authorize the town manager to work with legal counsel to draft language for our special town meeting warrant article. To authorize the town council to withdraw up to an amount to be filled in later to fund any overage for the town hall renovation project.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Is there any other action, Tim, that we can or should take this evening to help us meet timelines?
No, but I think if I get the language ready for the next meeting, I think the part of the piece of that is at the same time, in order for you to make a solid decision on the number, have Charter Brothers come present the overall cost of the project and what we're looking at.
Yep.
So that the public will be able to zoom in and see what we're talking about.
Okay. Are we gonna ask, so we're gonna ask Charters Brothers and Oak Point to come and join us at our next council meeting. So that will be with a new council, which will also be a good opportunity for them to get up to speed on the project too.
Yeah, I think that probably might, that would be where the next action would take place.
Okay.
If I get the language from the lawyer, I should be able to.
Okay. All right, so we will tentatively plan to, at our next town council meeting, to get a presentation from Charters Brothers, Oak Point, and then we will contribute to that too, to kind of make the case to the public about what the situation is. And then at that same meeting, we can go ahead and finalize the language and get things scheduled and get it on the books.
Correct.
Great, okay. Any other questions on town renovations? Did someone in the public have a question? I thought someone maybe kind of Russell. Sure, if you'd like to come up and ask, just come up to the podium. Sorry, I need you to come up to the podium and state your name and.
Name and address.
Yep.
Carl Snow, United Pond Road. Can we get access to the prints of what the plans that you guys are reviewing? Is that available?
They're all on,
Are they on?
they're all online under the town hall renovation, under the website.
Okay, and the modifications that you're contemplating as well?
Those are not there yet, but those
Okay.
will be part of the presentation that is forthcoming.
Yeah, okay, so if those are available before the next meeting, then we'll have an ample opportunity to look at that. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on into new business. Number one. Get my page. What is this? All right, so we do have an election coming up next week, and it's the duty of the town council to formally call the election, voting hours, location, et cetera. It's very much a kind of administrative action for us to take. So as if anyone is not aware, there's signs outside, and hopefully everyone has gotten the message, but voting for South Berwick going forward will be at Marshall High School. That's hopefully will be our last change. I know there's been a couple of changes this year, and we are in a spirit of continuous improvement, and I think finally landing at the best and final place, we think. So just a reminder to everyone that voting will be at Marshall High School 8 to 8 next Tuesday. I will go ahead and make a motion to call an election on November 4th, 2025 from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be held at 260 Dow Highway, South Berwick, Maine, which is also Marshall High School.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Where in the high school?
It'll be in the gym, correct? The gym.
Thanks.
I will also note that there are maps up on our town website now to indicate where people can stand with election signs with clear delineation for both Marshwood High School as well as for Town Hall of where you can stand with election signage. It's just important to note that even though we are moving to Marshwood High School, the Town Hall still continues to be a voting location because people can submit absentee ballots here and put them in our ballot box. So Town Hall still is technically considered a voting location. So the same rules that have always applied to Town Hall still do. And now the additional rules are now being applied to Marshwood High School as our voting location. All right, anything else? We have a motion on the table. All those in favor, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa? Aye. John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. New business number 2, our next council meeting normally would fall, because we have a second and fourth Tuesday cadence. Our normal council meeting would fall on November 11th, which is Veterans Day, a holiday. So we have a need to reschedule our town council meeting to a Monday, which is going to feel very strange. But this is simply just for the purposes of accommodating the holiday. And so I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to reschedule the November 11th to town council meeting to Monday, November 10th, 2025.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yeah, make sure you call me.
I know, like, everyone's gonna need major reminders for this.
12 years of coming on
On
Tuesdays.
Tuesdays, yeah.
Chair.
Yeah.
So part of this also is in order for us to fulfill the town code of appointing new councils within 7 days after the election.
Yep.
So if we were to hold it, planning board is Wednesday, and then that means if we bumped it out another week, we'd be outside the code of charter.
Thank you for that clarification. All right, all those in favor of moving our council meeting to November 10th, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Now that has been officially noted, I think it might not be a bad idea either after the election or sooner to reach out to all of the candidates and make sure that everyone's aware that their first meeting, if they are elected, will be Monday the 10th instead of the 11th, and that also at that very first meeting, there are three actions that take place every year: electing a chair, electing a vice chair, and adopting our town council rules of order. Those are three things that will happen on that meeting on the 10th. And I would, I don't want our new counselors to be, I guess, surprised in that. There's a lot happening on that day. All right, that wraps up new business number 2. Moving on to new business number 3. We need to schedule a public hearing for a consent agreement with Basin Properties LLC. Is there anything you want to add for this, Tim?
No, this is the, agreement both parties have reached, and now it's, just at the point where you'll have to hold a public hearing and decide what action you wish to take.
I see here that the proposed dates are either the 10th or the 28th. I'm gonna go ahead, given kind of what I just emphasized about all that's happening at the meeting on the 10th, I'm gonna suggest that we schedule a public hearing for the next meeting.
I was about to do that. We have way too much on the tenth.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and make a motion to schedule a public hearing for Basin Properties LLC for a consent agreement, on November 28th, 2025 at Town Hall, 6:30 PM to be held here on the 3rd floor.
Second,
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
aye,
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Up next, we need to schedule a public hearing, for a cannabis license renewal for Auras Medical. This is a business that has been, operating for a year. The license, our first license was originally issued on October 28th, 2020. No,
That was the last license.
oh, this. Okay, I'm reading the new one, sorry. Anyway, this is because this is a medical cannabis retail store, given our, ordinances here in South Berwick, there is now a procedure for medical cannabis retail stores to have a public hearing and receive town council authorization for their license renewal. So this is very much an administrative step for us, to go ahead and schedule that public hearing so that we can proceed with, renewing their license. So I will go ahead and, make a motion to schedule a public hearing, for Auras Medical Cannabis license. When do we want to hold this one?
might as well hold it on the 10th. It's gotta be the 10th, right? Because he's closing in on,
Yeah,
yeah, we're gonna have to do it on the 10th. He's gonna close in on running out.
Yeah,
this should be a very short.
yeah, brief one, okay. Okay, I'll start over. I'm gonna make a motion to schedule a public hearing for the renewal of Auras Medical Cannabis license to be held on November 10th, 2025, here at Town Hall on the 3rd floor, immediately following any previously scheduled public hearings, which I don't think there are any. But we have
Second.
another space. Great. We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Moving on to new business number 5. We have a new liquor license application for Hawk Nest Kitchen and Bar, which is located in Punkintown. Punkintown area. It's a new application for a new establishment, and we just need to seek approval for that. And I did notice there's a couple pieces missing from the application, but then we do have a note from Liquor Licensing Associated from the state of Maine, kind of clarifying the pieces of the application that were that are not included there. And because it is a new business, there are certain pieces of their licensing they haven't received yet. And so I think the story here is that we have everything that we need from this applicant, given that they are a new applicant.
So Madam Chair, I move we approve the new liquor license application for Hawks Nest Kitchen and Bar. They are a business in good standing. We have no reports yet.
Second. Any discussion? There's a sample menu for this new restaurant in our support docs, if anyone's curious. That's important information. All right, any other discussion on the liquor license? All those in favor of granting a liquor license for Hawk Nest Kitchen and Bar, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 4-0. Welcome to the community. Always happy to have any business in town. Moving on to number 6, zoning changes. So at the top of this meeting, we had a public hearing for a series of changes to chapter 140, which contains all of our zoning ordinances. I summarized those at the top of the meeting. We'll do that again before we take action on this, but wanted to open it up to the council. So any questions or discussion on any of the zoning amendments?
The only one that I'm looking at is chapter 140, section 9, section 58.1 outdoor sales of food, and section 58.2 operation of food trucks and carts. I think anyone that has been around Southborough for a while can remember maybe like Jack's Lunch in town and what a staple that was for our town with camaraderie. With, you know, just another food option for the town and stuff. So I want to make it very clear that, given the right circumstances, I would not be opposed for the operation of food trucks and carts in our town. Said, however, I do want to apologize to the planning board because if I would have looked at this a little more closely, I would have really desired a workshop for me just on this section. I did go into research and just look up other towns, food trucks ordinances. And ironically enough, not a lot of towns have them, which I'm sure the planning board already knows. The closest ones that I could find were actually Wells and Kittery. And then I broadened the search just to towns in Maine that were the same population as ours. And again, food truck ordinances. So my suggestion would be is, if we were to take action, on this, I would really suggest tabling it, to have a workshop. And I would just like to give my reasons why. I don't need answers to these, but these are just some of the concerns, that I did have, why we might want to dive deeper into this. I was a little concerned that no permit is going to be required for the food trucks. So I would suggest to be mindful to our brick and mortar businesses. It would kind of be fair where there's some kind of license with a fee that needs to be determined through an application. And then there was no sections of like violations or penalties if the food trucks like didn't abide by the ordinance. Maybe issuing temporary activity permits or accessory use permits would be a good route to go. So no additional lighting is allowed for the food trucks, but they're open, they can operate from 7 AM to 9 AM, till 9 PM. We've had several complaints about the lighting downtown that we're trying to fix with the downtown revitalization, and I'm concerned with food trucks, if they were open until 9 o'clock through the winter hours, that could be a pedestrian safety hazard, an accident would happen. It said the food trucks are only allowed to sell food and non-alcoholic beverages. Well, maybe we should consider, what if they have promotional merchandise of their own, like t-shirts or cups, or shouldn't they also be allowed, you know, to sell those? If they have the space. Another thing was maybe we should determine a distance between the vendors to avoid congestion in our town. Also, we have you can't exceed 30 feet in length, but there's no determination of a width requirement. And if somebody has a tow behind trailer attached to their truck, which technically is a truck, then if there's no width restriction, then they could maybe build their own tow behind trailer and have something sticking out into the road if they're parked in 2 parking spaces that the council would approve, allow them to be. The vehicle has to be attended at all times. Well, what if there's only one operator and they maybe need to use the restroom? Do they have to shut down? So long story short, I love the idea. I think that it's definitely a possibility in our town, but I am not personally confident with the ordinance changes I think it needs a little bit more work. for it to work right for our town.
I'm gonna ask or offer, I know some folks from planning board are here, I think if there's anything, any of Melissa's questions that you guys can address, are you open to that?
If they want to,
Yeah.
like, I just didn't know if it was so much that maybe, you know, a workshop would be better.
No, absolutely, we can absolutely do a workshop, but I can answer all those questions. So first, there is a permit required. Actually, no food truck can operate within the town without your express authorization. And so that's actually limited on 1 calendar year, that's B, 14058.1B. So you all actually are the authorizing party for 1 year, same as any other type of licensing that you give out now. In the town, you actually don't have business licensing, so there's only a few different uses that have business licenses, and this was actually would be one of those. I can go through the rest of them. So for illumination, you are allowed illumination, but it has to be internal to the truck or to your menu. And this is to prevent from flood lighting from going everywhere into the downtown. And that's expressly for just the trucks. You can be in an illuminated area, but you can't provide your own illumination. As far as width is concerned, is that in order to have a food truck or a trailer, it has to have a standard width of operating vehicles, and those have to be able to fit into parking spots. And so there's no risk of being extended beyond and jutting out, because those are standard to actually be on the road, et cetera. You have a list. If you can go down that list one by one, I can answer it all. Yeah.
Lord,
Yeah.
Fines included too.
Yes, fines are included too. This isn't a part of your zoning ordinance, so any violation of this would actually be going through your violations for your zoning. So it's the same procedures, and that's intentional because it already has a procedure for any violations. What's the next one?
Promotional merchandise, t-shirts, cups, all that stuff.
Sure, sure. So this is actually for food trucks. If it was under merchandising, actually today, if you wanted to merchandise out of a truck, you would not be able to. It's required that you be from brick and mortar today. This section actually allows you to actually do so. Under the food truck licensing, it wouldn't be under that for merchandising, but for any type of food stuff, if it is as an accessory use, you could do so. But this is in regard to the food itself. As far as liquor, we don't allow mobile liquor to be sold from other places, and so we thought it was best not to open that floodgate, to be as conservative as possible as far as that concern. What's the next one?
That covered my list, but she's got the real list there.
Yeah.
Well, so DeCarlo, when you were mentioning the permit, so operation of food trucks under A, it says food trucks or carts are permitted to operate from public parking spaces or lots within the B1 district between the hours of 7 a.m. and 9 p.m. without site plan approval or permit.
Correct.
So that just leads to a concern where you're verbally saying there is a permit. I'm just saying the way this is written, it can be completely confused to somebody to thinking that I don't need a permit to run a food truck.
So correct. So a permit for a site plan. And so if you go to B on the prior page, the first page, they actually need is permitted with prior authorization from town council. Authorization shall be limited to 1 calendar year. And this is intentional because it's not connected to the ground. When you're applying for a permit, it has to be for that actual location. And so you actually don't apply for permits for locations that are going to be mobile. Because if so, then you're creating a new restriction that says that you have to actually delineate where this food truck is going to be within that year. And so that's another barrier that we didn't think that we should be putting on to our businesses. And so we thought it best to have direct authorization from you. And in this, it actually allows you to have more restrictions if you want to, if you do want to restrict them from being in section A or section B. But food trucks by nature are mobile. And so our permitting system is per location, and it actually goes with the land itself. And so to make them do a permit on each location they go on would be an extra burden that really doesn't go with the nature of the use of a food truck.
So before they before they would come before the council, are we going to have like an actual application for them to fill out, and do we have one?
So we don't have one today, but we're not authorized. You would have to authorize us to actually create one, just as there's nothing in this that says that basically what is the details of an application for planning board. That we normally in law, you don't go that specific. But if this is authorized, we would literally have to create one in order for them to come before you. And actually it would be for you all to say, hey, we want this in our application in order, before we're going to authorize a food truck. And so any information that you want to have about that food truck, you just tell us and we'll put in a permit for people to fill out, and they'll have to give you that information ahead of time. And if you even want more information, you don't have to approve that application just because you want more information. You can ask that as the applicant, just as the planning board has that power for any applications that they have before them. I heard a question about garbage. They're actually required to handle their own garbage, and that's actually one of the standards of this. We thought about that because that's one of my most concerns about food trucks, that you're selling, food and all this stuff, and where's the garbage going? So in one of the standards, you actually are required to handle your own garbage. So we do have that. Now, I do understand that you might have additional questions, and, to be, fire back and forth it might be comfortable. And so if you are comfortable with having, another workshop, we're game for it. And especially, this is not something that we're trying to push through, but this is something that we wanted to offer and put before you so you all can discuss, and you can choose if this is the right time, if this is the right moment. And if not, we can just keep working on it. But I did want to provide the answers because we did have the answers.
Yeah, we're totally open to the workshop, but like you said, we're just trying to find a way to have an easier entry point for new businesses to come in. Since the startup costs for a food truck are considerably less than a regular restaurant.
Yep. And on that note, for our regular restaurants, we have gone around to our regular restaurants and say, and asked the question about food trucks and about food. And the vast majority have said, it's the variety that brings people to a location. It's not just my direct location. They have said something about parking, if you guys have heard, but it's not the amount of parking. It's actually that for our in-and-out businesses, they didn't have a designated space for 15-minute parking. But more recently, we have approved 15-minute spots for some of these locations that we're concerned about parking, not for food trucks, but for other things going on. And they've been ecstatic about it.
I do have a question about the application piece of it, and because this is a use that we're basically saying would come before the council for us to approve. And it feels similar-ish to the cannabis stuff that we have, like how we go through that process. And I do remember the application be I feel like it was part of the ordinance, and like we had kind of gone through like what the application was going to look like kind of prior to this point. And I'm just wondering, to Melissa's point about like the application, and we don't have an application yet, does that need to be nailed down? Because if we enact this, but then we don't have the application, are we then preventing people from being able to move on this, I guess?
And I mean, so if someone's ready to move tomorrow, yeah, I mean, it would be, but there's not. Normally, actually, when I do any amendments that we put forward, there's somebody that's specifically pushing for this, but this is in a need that we know is upcoming because of costs to be in a brick and mortar and capital. And so we do have time to actually work on it. And it's actually going to be a work in progress because there's going to be information from, food trucks 1 through 4 that you think you have all the information you need in order to approve one. But in food truck 6, you're like, well, we really needed more information on this one. And so you can update that application. It is in flux. Again, if you'd like, we can draft an application for you. It's more of, it's not a necessity. It's actually when we're talking about law, but we're able to do anything.
Just for clarity, so if there were a workshop, if we left here and did not vote on this, if there were a workshop, my understanding would be that the planning board would then have to have if anything were changed.
Correct.
planning board would need to schedule another public hearing on this. Then get that through, however long that takes. Town council will come back to town council with another public hearing as well, and then get to this point again, correct?
Correct. That's the legislative process.
Yeah, exactly. Just clarifying, it's not just a simple,
Yeah.
let's talk it over and see what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a major adjustment to the whole process and the work that's been done. Also, my question is the application relevant to the article that's the agenda item?
No, it doesn't have bearing on the,
So the question at hand is the ordinance, not necessarily about the application. That could be pushed to another time. We could handle this question tonight and handle the
Application piece.
extras, you know, and just to not.
correct, this is enabling legislation, right?
Yeah.
So this allows you to actually do it, just like, when, when cannabis became legal, it became legal and then they established administrative procedures and in order to say, we will need this type of information in order to approve your application to do X, Y, and Z. Same thing they do for restaurants, same thing, they do for other type of businesses that are highly regulated. So first you would need the enabling legislation before you go any further.
I think it's also just important to note, like Jeff, as you had mentioned, this is already language that's been through a public hearing for the planning board, voted unanimously by the planning board, and so we're now having a second public hearing, more or less, on the content of this. It's the first town council public hearing, but the second public hearing on that content. Okay, any other questions? What is the will of the council on this? Having trouble?
I would ask for, maybe a little bit of input on what you want to do. If you want to go one by one, or if you want, because there's a bunch of these, right? So I don't, just think about ahead, if we want to go one by one or just do a lump of them, just. That's the piece I would think we should handle ahead of jumping into a vote if we don't, you know what I mean?
I'm good with approving them all the way they're written. I have no issue with it. I understand the permitting process. Melissa had some fantastic questions as normal. She dives in to all of it. I'm pretty confident how you answered 90% of her questions. And again, the licensing or the permitting piece is after the fact. It's not tied to this. So I'm good with voting on them in entirety, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, go ahead.
So each change has to have, each number, different ordinance has to have an individual vote.
It's that.
Okay. Okay, so given that it needs to have individual, I need to do this individually. I don't want to belabor this too much more this evening because I don't have that list like readily available to just like rattle through those. So I think I'm gonna sort of suggest, given the discussion, that maybe we just, can we just table the action on this until next meeting? And then maybe perhaps at our next meeting, we could have a draft of a potential application, at least to view. And then we can adopt the zoning changes then, unless, does anybody have just like handy
I don't know, but I have a concern with that because there is the potential, depending on how the election is, that we have 3 brand new councilors sitting at this table that
don't.
have no past knowledge of this other than possibly being here for a meeting or two.
Page 68 is the memo
Yep,
from the planning board.
I know, but what are the 4, like the specific, you're telling me I need to make 5 individual motions?
Yeah, so the first one would be, chapter 140 amendments, chapter 147, section 77, site plan review as drafted. The second one would be hello, still there?
I think in.
Alright, second one would be chapter 146.
Can we just go one at a time? What is the first one again?
Before you go, do you have any more questions for me? I didn't want to,
Oh,
you
sorry.
have your space. Yeah.
No. Any other questions for DeCarlo?
All right, thank you.
Stay here to make sure I read the numbers right.
Okay,
Keep it on track.
okay.
Don't leave.
So the first one should be chapter 140, section 7.7, site plan review as drafted.
You need a copy of that.
No, I got it. I just, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt the changes to chapter 140, section 77, site plan review, specifically the addition of paragraph of section 3 and the subsequent bullets are the new section.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor of adopting the changes to chapter 140, section 77 for site plan review, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Okay, that's the first one. Next, we have chapter 140, section 58.
Correct.
Or
Section
several
9.
sections, actually.
Yep, section 9 definition, section 51 outdoor sales of food, and section 58 through operation of food trucks and cans.
And do we need one motion per section or one motion per?
No, just for that chapter one, but just for that section 9 definition for section 58-1, 58-2. That's all one ordinance, so that's just that.
That's just the numbering. It's very not clear to me. I'll make a motion to adopt the amendments to chapter 140, section 9 definitions, section 58.1 outdoor sales of food, and section 58.2 operation of food carts and trucks, as noted in our support docs.
Second.
Any discussion? How are these motions? I'm not feeling confident about these motions. Okay. All those in favor say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa? Nay. John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 3-1. Okay, up next, we have, I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt changes to chapter 140, section 24 for off-street parking and loading, specifically changes to, bullet F in that section,
So there are a lot of changes, so this would be as drafted.
as drafted. Thank you. Thank you. Really.
Oh, you're doing great.
All those in favor, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes, 4-0. Up next, where's the landscaping standards?
So that was in that section.
That was in that section. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so then the last one is for wetlands. I'll go ahead and make a motion to adopt chapter 140, section 42. And this is a net new section for regarding wetlands.
Second.
Thank you. All those, or any discussion? All those in favor of motion, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes 4-0. Okay. We have taken care of all of those. Thank you. Thank you to DeCarlo, planning board, all of you guys that are here this evening to help us with all of that. And I also just want to say that, I am really excited about these changes because I think a lot of these are very kind of proactive changes that the town is making to make us more business friendly. And I think it's just another example of some of the things that are currently underway in town to try to promote more business here. So thank you to planning board and DeCarlo and for all of your hard work on all of this.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
All right, moving on to number 7, TIF reimbursement agreement.
Why did you walk off? This is you, so cute.
Well, I have to go get Josh.
Sorry for my unprofessional comment.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening. DeCarlo, I'll let you kind of tee this up for us, I guess.
Absolutely. I would like to take credit for attracting Josh's business to the town, but I cannot. It's your amenities that's attracted a prospective business to the town and in the area of Pumpkin Town. Josh has recently closed, his company's really recently closed on a property that really abuts the Punkintown TIF. It's in the Punkintown area. It abuts the Punkintown TIF and the 236 TIF. It's right in between those two areas in a map that it's one of those sections. I have provided some slides for you all, but basically what we are asking for today is not the approval to join the TIF. It is actually to authorize the town to go into a contract with Josh's company, and so that they can, it's a contract that ensures that any changes that need to be made by our attorneys that he would pay for. So that's what we're asking for today. And I'll bring up the slides that really just presents like, why is he interested in doing this in the first place?
I just want to restate, so what's essentially on the table is for our, proposal, I guess I will say, to modify our Punkintown TIF language to include your piece of property. And the suggestion is that we make that change, but then you pay for the legal fees associated with that change.
So you're not even, it's too much. So really, it's just for us to draft the proposal to join the TIF.
Okay.
And that Josh's company would foot the bill for that. Thank you, Josh. Yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. That's helpful.
So once that is complete, then the proposal will come before you all, and then you can evaluate if the town thinks this is a good idea and wants to go into the agreement to add their property into the TIF. So you're not there yet, but it's going towards that way. Your company right now is called Foundry, correct? The Green Foundry, but this property, the project doesn't have a name yet, so we just put the Foundry on.
I'm not sure if we're gonna keep the original name or name it something else more.
Okay.
Flashy.
Awesome. And if you can go to the next slide, basically, can you just describe the business as it is?
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. My name is Joshua Dow. My company is the Green Foundry. We're over at Sanctuary Arts in Elliott. And we had a chance to build a larger facility at the Punkintown property, which I'm soon to move into the house there. And what we're doing is we're creating a vocational arts sort of campus that includes my business. That's phase one. I make sculpture for artists. I make, my business is to take people's artwork and make it into bronze or aluminum and other things. Public, private, all kinds of different stuff. It's a wide variety of things. Right now, I'm sort of crammed into this little building, and I need to stretch my wings and try to grow. That's what I do for a living, but my personal passion is to teach people how to do this sort of stuff. If you're a creative individual, if you're using your hands to make stuff, you should be able to pay your car insurance as well. And so hopefully being right next to the high school, the residency programs will be for, college age people and above, but there should be, basically some voc arts training for blacksmithing, welding, eventually woodworking, pottery, all the cool fiery stuff, that sort of things. I would like to say that sometimes when people hear the word foundry, it means giant forklifts that back over you in the dark. We're cool. We've been in like little residential neighborhood for 20 years, since 2006. And even though we want to make it a larger facility, the goal is to be your friendly neighborhood creative people.
Okay, so we're going to get directly to the details that you all will need in order to decide. So basically, Punkintown TIF has 15 years left, and then the Punkintown TIF is no more. And so really, we're doing our investments now to start the economic engine of the area. And this decision today does not designate or promise TIF funds to this proposed project. It's literally just for the contract. Next, the applicant is to pay all associated fees, attorney and mapping to join the TIF, just to let you all know. This links together Punkintown and the 236 TIF districts. And it's an expansion of the non-residential offices in South Berwick. So you all have asked me, hey, we need more business in the town, and so I'm attempting to do so. You might be asking, why are they interested in this? It offers support in Punkintown master planning. All the areas around Punkintown are now starting to meet pretty regularly and seeing how those properties can develop and actually be a walkable space over there. And so this is a part of that. It offers the possibility of support for infrastructure, roads, sidewalks, public water, public sewer, public trails connections. We have a current public water study going on right now, so it coincides with that. And it offers supports an artisan and attraction and destination as Josh just described. Next slide, please. And then the direct details, this is on tax map 2, lot 9. It's about an 18.76 acre property. Right now, there is one single family dwelling present, and the assessed value of the property right now is about $407,000. And then here's the real details you wanted to know. How much taxes are you getting out of the property today? And today it's about $5,000. And so this is where the level of revenue where you're getting from that property today in order to provide services for everyone. However, with the proposed additions, those will go up. And that's the whole point, is to provide some infrastructure and some support for businesses to actually develop in the area. So when the TIF is over, then those tax revenues actually go to supporting the town. And then the next slide is the only last slide I'll go over today, but we have other ones that you can read over. Is some actually examples of Josh's work.
Yeah.
That's what we make. So lots of sculpture.
So the tip actually goes to supporting the town anyway, if you look at it, because it facilitates us doing projects and doing stuff without incurring a fee on the taxpayers.
Correct.
So this is a win-win. There's no lose here with what Josh wants to do. I want to go visit when he builds it, because
Everybody's welcome. It's lots of fun.
it's an incredible opportunity for the town that I wouldn't want to pass up. And the way this is written, again, I don't see a downside to it at all. And that's what we want. That's what that place was built for. That's what we wanted. So.
Good. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I'll just chime in. I appreciate you coming in, and I was expecting to just hear DeCarlo's sing-song voice, but it was nice to have you come in and explain what you're really doing up there. It's walking into it, I was kind of like, what the heck is this guy doing? You know, but I'm glad that you were here to explain it and give some clarity. And honestly, I'm like John, I'm a little excited about this to think about. I'm not an artsy one. You don't want me doing any art stuff, but I like.
I don't know.
I like watching other
Pretty
people.
compelling. Good fire. See.
So thank you. No, I'm excited about this. I think this is great.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you very much for your time.
Yeah. Any other questions from anybody?
Yeah.
All right. So as far as action, I think we need 2 motions to approve the contract and then also to authorize the town manager, or can we do this all in one?
Good.
Okay. 1 or 2 motions?
For one.
Okay. I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the contract.
Sorry, right, you want to authorize?
Are we authorizing you to sign the contract, or are we?
You do it both. You want me to do it?
Okay, please, thank you. I'm struggling with motions.
Mr. Chair, I move to authorize the town manager to approve the contract and, I move to approve the contract and authorize the town manager to sign it for the town council.
Is that a specific enough motion though? It's just saying that contract. This is my, I was struggling with it.
Second?
You can add the name to it, Jeff Greenberg.
Sorry. That's all. So amended.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor of motion on the table, say aye. Jeff?
Aye.
Melissa?
Aye.
John? Aye. Motion passes 4-0. DeCarlo and John, Jake? Josh, sorry, I keep saying Jake in these documents. I was getting confused about that. Thank you so much for both being here this evening. And again, I kind of echo what John and Jeff had said. I'm really excited about this, and I think it's kind of a really great suggestion. So thank you. All right, so that takes care of all of our regular business. I will now move to reports and presentations because we moved that to later on this evening. And go ahead and,
Jeff, please act surprised.
Pretend we didn't tell you nothing.
So this evening, as I mentioned earlier, is our last town council meeting before an election. So we've been operating with 4 councilors for a number of months now. And so we will have 3 potentially new councilors opening or joining us in a couple of weeks. And so this is unfortunately Jeff's for sure last meeting, Melissa's maybe last meeting. And so for that reason, we have a plaque ready for Jeff to thank you for your service, and Melissa, best of luck to you in the election. And if you join us, then we'll have a plaque for you in 3 years. And if you don't, we'll have a plaque for you in a couple weeks. But I will go ahead and.
Another surprise.
Yeah, sorry, I'm ruining all of the surprises here. So I'll go ahead and stand up and, to Jeff, this, just read it for you. The town of Southborough wants to thank you, Jeff Minahan, for the time commitment and contributions you offered to the town while on both the planning board and the 4 years you've served on the town council. Your efforts helped make Southborough a better place to live and grow. A million thanks from the town council, administration, staff, and citizens presented to you in the last town council meeting.
Thank
Thank you so much. You want to? All right. So thank you, Jeff, so much for your service. I was kind of thinking this morning, this group of 4, it's been the 4 of us for a little while. I feel like it's gonna been the 4 of us and then one other person. And so anyways, I just am really proud of this council and the work that we've gotten done. And most importantly, I'm really proud of the fact that we're 4 very different people and we all work together really well. And I think have governed efficiently and have made tough decisions. And I'm just really proud of us as a body. And we'll be sad to not see this body operate any longer. And I hope that our new council will function similarly as well. That's all. Does anyone else have anything they want to?
Madam Chair.
Yes, please.
Councilwoman Minahan, on behalf of myself, the assistant town manager, all the department heads and all the staff, we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your 4 years of service here for us in council, for certainly supporting the staff, our ideas, and asking here we go again, asking the tough questions when the tough questions need to be asked and seeking those answers. But most importantly, supporting all the staff and the team. The team is obviously all the town council, the employees, the administration, and members of the public. And always supporting the team to move the community forward. Having the employees' backs and making your decisions based on 8,000 people, not one. And that's been very, very well documented and very well noticed and appreciated by the staff, myself, the assistant town manager, and all the department heads. So on behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you for your dedication for the last 4 years. We appreciate your support, and most of all, we appreciate you helping us make Southborough a great place to live. Thank you.
All right. Now we will get back to town manager's report and comments. Tim and Jenna.
Hello? Yeah, no, it's working. I just didn't want to work. All right. Highway, they started the curbside leaf pickup, plan to get it completed by Friday. They're preparing for winter and servicing the equipment. Roadside mowing will continue till the snow flies. They built a new ramp bridge between the soccer fields, the old one rotted away. Police department had 0 arrests, 9 accidents, and the most traffic stops in 2 weeks in York County, 313. Chief reports traffic stops are up, and with the e-citation program that is now mandatory to use as of 10/1, better traffic reports can be run and compared with agencies. And the chief reports that South Berwick PD is currently has the greatest number of traffic stops compared to all agencies in surrounding towns in the county. Fire department had 14 calls in the last 2 weeks, year to date 377. In addition to these calls, firefighters provided 42.5 hours of shift coverage for York ambulance over the last 2 weeks. bringing total to 142 hours of open EMS shifts covered in October. Code enforcement had 8 buildings permits issued, 3 plumbing permits issued, 2 certificates of occupancy, 46 inspections with 3 violations. Planning and economic development, the Southburg block party that was organized and put together by the economic developer DeCarlo, his staff Brittany, and the people in the community was a great success. DeCarlo reports that it met all of its primary goals. They were quickly talking about enhancing, growing it, and doing it next year. And so it went really well, and I want to thank DeCarlo and Brittany for their hard work on that, as well as everybody else who put in time for that. Downtown Revitalization Advisory Committee is going to meet at 5 p.m. on the 3rd, up here on the 3rd floor to discuss points of interest for wayfinding and other recommendations. And the planner is working on a micro grant program to support our local business. Transfer station, everything's running very smoothly, and a lot of people are recycling. Seems to be a lot more than we ever had. So that's good. The traffic flow seems to be much better, and there's been no backup issues since the new configuration changes. And of course, I'd like to take a moment and just say thank you to Bruce Howard, who passed away suddenly last week. Bruce was a longtime member of our team at the transfer station. He would often buy boxes of Big Milk dog biscuits to give to the animals. He loved the dogs, and if you had a dog, you knew Bruce, and he would always come out and, he would really help people. And as his wife had said, that he found his true calling in getting that job because he got to pick through everybody else's trash. And so it was a loss for us. We're saddened, and we offer our condolences to his family and certainly to our staff at the transfer station.
At the library, Lee Shaw's last day will be this Thursday, October 30th. We did hold a celebration luncheon for him here, Monday, the 27th. Lee was presented an award of appreciation and recognition for his 4 years of outstanding leadership, innovation, and heartfelt services to the town. There was an author visit, Erin Moulton, on October 16th. It was an evening of cemetery sleuthing. And October 31st, they will have a family Halloween party from 3 to 5 at the library. There will be games, treats, and snacks. All ages are welcome, and costumes are optional. The recreation, the soccer has wrapped up for the season. They will be having a field day cleanup that will happen within the next 2 weeks. They'll pick a sunny day to take care of all the nets and put them away. October 31st, the Halloween parade will start at 5:30. Trick-or-treating is from 6 to 8. There'll be activities at the community center prior to the start of the parade. This is a rain date. We pushed it from Thursday to Friday. With the seniors, they have tickets for the community Thanksgiving luncheon. That will be on Wednesday, the 29th. The annual community Thanksgiving dinner is on Monday. The tickets are available this 29th in October. The dinner will be on Monday, November 24th. It is free, but you have to get a ticket because it fills up quick. Assessing, we have big congratulations to Brittany Howard. She is now a certified main assessor. This test demonstrates her dedication learning the assessing field. This is an 8-hour exam. It's a 5-part test, and it is very difficult where most people do fail the first time. So congratulations to Brittany. Verna is working on valuation abatements request. There is a total of 22 abatements in her office at this time, and there are 10 in process. In the clerk's office, Renee was appointed interim town clerk on Monday, October 20th, and Kim was appointed deputy town clerk. They have done 190 motor vehicle transactions in the last 2 weeks, 17 vital transactions, 11 notarial acts, and the clerk's office will be closed November 4th and November 5th for elections. And just as a reminder, for absentee voting, the deadline is October 30th at 6 p.m. In finance in my area, HR and benefits, we did have 17 applications for the library director. And we mentioned this earlier, we did hold 5, brought it up to the top 2, and saw Melissa tonight. She's going to be a wonderful addition to the team. We did close last week on the ambulance lease, and the ambulance we should expect to see in-house within the next couple weeks. We did hold our quarterly staff safety committee meeting, getting that back up and running. We had enrollments go out to the staff for flexible spending account. And on November 15th, we will have the dental, vision, and health enrollments go out to the staff. for open enrollment. Tomorrow, Tim and I will be meeting with Adam. He takes care of our insurance and he will be going over the rate increases and what our options are for the new year. We have heard it's gonna go up a decent amount.
Is that for health insurance?
Correct, yes. Foreclosure notices will be sent out by certified mail on November 4th for outstanding 2024 taxes. We currently have 11 properties that we'll be sending out notices to. And we have received 6 applications for the town clerk's position, and we will start scheduling those interviews sometime next week.
Before you, are we gonna really have the new ambulance before we're gonna have the used one that we bought?
It's gonna be right close and close. And as soon as we get the used one, from a gunfight, that will go in to get lettered for the new one here in the bay.
That's fantastic. Awesome, thank you.
The company that's giving us the new one, they're gonna take the old one, install our radios, go through it top to bottom, do a warranty check, make sure everything's up to date, make sure all the electronics for the chassis and the ambulance box is up to date, test everything, certify it, and then letter it and get it back to us.
Fantastic.
So,
Fell into place beautifully, thank you.
I attended the York County Town Managers meeting, and the biggest issue there is again, the 1829 housing issue, or the ADU issue, I guess. That continues to be problematic for everybody to try to figure out how to approach that next and how to accomplish the goals set by the legislature for us at a municipal level. We provided the new personnel policy handbook to all the employees on Monday. Went over with the department heads on Monday and gave it to them. Everybody has a sign page. They have to read it and sign for it. We had meetings with the HR and attorneys on personnel issues. Signed the electronic contract for new ambulance. Had town hall renovation team meetings. Met with the assessing agent on payment in lieu of taxes discussion. General assistance has received 3 calls and 1 appointment made this week. And from the Maine Welfare Directors Association, I received a letter last week. Says, Dear Timothy, congratulations are in order for the town of South Berwick. The Maine Welfare Directors Association has approved the certification of Don Moreau as Certified Welfare Director, GA Administrator. The certification process has required many hours of dedication to achieve. Certification process requires the application to receive training in a number of courses that relate to their field of expertise. The Maine Welfare Directors Association understands the investment of time and resource takes to achieve this status by both the recipient and the municipality. Congratulations once again to the town of South Berwick and Don Moreau. Sincerely, Professional Development Chair, Chris. So congratulations, Don. She's worked very hard over 4 years to get that certification. It's taken her that long, training classes every year. So she's done a great job with that. And the only other last piece I have is I want people as we get into the winter season. So we remember that we have these ice storms where it brings down a lot of tree limbs and a lot of brush. And in the past, with the FEMA declarations for disasters, Jay has been able to go out and hire different contractors because we know we're gonna get eligible for federal reimbursements. That has changed, right? We talked about that earlier this year. They, very early on in the new administration, upped the dollar amounts to apply for federal damages. So instead of it being 8 million for the state, it's now 20 million, which means the county went from 2 million to whatever it has to be, whatever it is for us. So it's significantly more. So the real possibility is we're gonna have these storms and we may not be able to do the cleanup the way it used to be, where Jay would hire outside contractors, they'd come in, have it cleaned up in a week and everything back to normal. It may very well be that we have to leave the brush on the side of the road, wait till the spring and do the summer and just chip away at it with our own chipper and our own truck as we can, because we're not gonna have any way to get a $300,000 reimbursement as we did in the past. So I just, before we get there, everybody starts screaming and hollering, but you know, how come the town's not doing this? I just want that to be, made aware, that's all. The last one is, we've been trying to get the cul-de-sac done at Rosefield Circle. We've been waiting on the contractor for the granite curbing, because that's a specialty that has to be put in before the pavement can be laid. He's contacted the town, so he hopes to get there to the end of this week, first next week, and they have the pavers scheduled right behind them, so if they can lay it, then put down the pavement for the last piece of that. That's all I have for my updates.
Thank you. We'll move over into council member comments. John, you have anything?
Yeah, I just want to thank Jeff. It's been a short 4 years. It's been a lot of fun. I want to thank you for everything you brought. You brought a lot of good questions, a lot of knowledge to us. It's been great. I wish you well in whatever you choose to do in your next endeavor. Melissa, it's been 3 years of lots of questions and lots of corrections. It's been fantastic. I proofread a lot more now because of you checking everything for us. So I want to wish you well also in the election. I would love to have you back just for that, if nothing else. Your complete fact checking and the way you look at the whole town as a whole, not just one piece, but you look out for the benefit of everybody. And then I would like to wish everybody running in the election good luck. There are a lot of people running, so that's all I have.
Melissa? Wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. I also wanted to say thank you to Jeff. I loved the ability to agree to disagree with you, and also agree and disagree. It was an adventure, and you said once that the thing that you were looking forward to the most of not being a counselor was just going back to being Jeff Minahan. And I hope that is everything that you hoped it would be, because if not, then we'll write you in the next election to come back to the council. So thank you. Just a couple of notifications. Saturday is the first official day of hunting this year, which I'm surprised John didn't mention. But so just hikers be aware when you're in public woods that there could be people hunting in the woods. Make sure you wear your blaze orange, both hunters and hikers. With that being said, the 5th annual Hunters Brunch is being held this Saturday at the Emery's Bridge Community Improvement Association. Kids under 12 eat free. They do ask for a $10 donation. It would be appreciated, and that will help the restoration efforts of the number 11 schoolhouse located on the corner of Emery's Bridge in Belmarsh. And speaking of the EBCIA, there is still time to enter their Brian Holton Memorial Future Sportsman giveaway. You enter your future hunter for a chance to win a Maine lifetime hunting and fishing license. The child must be a Maine resident, age 5 or under. Go to the Emery's Bridge Community Improvement Facebook page or email them for details. And then my final thing is to, I also wanted to wish all of the candidates, I don't want to say good luck. I want to say may the odds be ever in your favor. I think that's more appropriate for a situation such as an election. So that's all.
Thank you. I'm gonna go next and I'll let Jeff go last. I have a couple announcements that I just want to let people know about. First of all, we are on, I think, like day 28 now of a government shutdown, and with SNAP benefits being no longer issued in just a few days. Food insecurity in our community I think has potential to become a challenge. I think it already is. I also think it's possible that our new council will need to consider supporting our community in ways that we haven't had to before, potentially. And so for that reason, I just kind of want to call out a couple of the things that are happening coming up, because our community is so generous and trying to always like looking out for the underdog. Tomorrow evening, I'm surprised Pat Robinson actually didn't mention this, which I thought for sure when she joined, she would be mentioning it. But tomorrow evening, at 5 p.m. at Spring Hill here in South Berwick is the Keep South Berwick Forum annual soup supper. It's normally held the Wednesday after the election, but for some, I don't know the reason, but this year is being held tomorrow. That's an effort to raise money to help people with their heating bills. Additionally, next Friday, November 7th, from 5:30 to 9 p.m. at the Regatta is a dance being held to support Footprints in the South Berwick Food Pantry. There will be live music. There's a band from Elliott, the name is escaping me, but it sounds really fun. And it's an event that is definitely there to serve the community. And then I would also like to just really, really compliment the South Berwick Reporter. The candidate forum was fabulous. I did not attend in person. I joined from home live, and it was lovely. The audio was great, the experience was great, the video was great. So props to the reporter for facilitating a great event for us. And then lastly, I just will say, echo what everyone else has said. Jeff and Melissa, Jeff, you certainly will be missed. Melissa, TBD. I feel weird about, I don't know how to talk about it, but I have really, really enjoyed serving the town with both of you, and I will very much miss them. If you're not. I'll turn it over to Jeff and let you have the last word.
Thank you. I just wanted to, I had something written, so I wouldn't keep you guys here till 12 with my rambling, but before jumping on that, I wanted to say that I went to the block party and it was really cool. It was nice to be able to see, obviously talk with DeCarlo. It's always nice to talk with him, and to see the people kind of walking up and down, roaming the street, and everyone was really kind of very happy about what was happening. It was very interesting to see that area all cleared out and from the middle of the street, not just trying to blaze up and down. So very nice and really great thing. And then, congratulations, not congratulations, good luck to the candidates, and really, I just want to say, Melissa, it's been really a good experience. I agree with everything that you said to me, and, and all of us, what people I don't think many people recognize or understand that I've seen these people for a lot of hours, but it's really only at these meetings. Like, it's not, we don't really hang out outside of this. So this is our relationship. So, but yeah, so I'll just dive. As my 4 years as South Berwick Town Council comes to a close, I want to just begin with the word gratitude. Serving this town has been a great honor. When I first took this seat, I wanted to help make local government feel closer to the people it serves, to make it more transparent, more approachable, more responsive. 4 years later, what I've learned is that real progress doesn't come from any single person or position. It comes from shared energy, shared creativity, and a shared care of this entire community. South Berwick has always been a town with a strong sense of identity, rooted in its history, built by hard work, and sustained by the spirit of our people. But what makes this place truly special is how we continue to evolve. We've shown again and again that it's possible to honor our past while looking into the future. I've been proud to support the efforts that strengthen our infrastructure, improve the transparency, and expand our opportunities for our residents and businesses. But more than just policies, it's a mindset that gives me hope. It's a willingness to find innovative and creative ways to grow while keeping our small town character intact. Whether it's reimagining how we use our public spaces, supporting local entrepreneurs, investing in sustainability, or finding new ways to bring people together, that's really what I've learned the spirit of South Berwick is all about. To my fellow councilors and the councilors over the years, I just want to thank you for your dedication to the town and the thoughtful debate that we've all shared in. It is healthy to have healthy disagreement. Most importantly, if it's handled with respect. And I appreciate your leeway sometimes with me on that. It's really what keeps our democracy and our town really strong. To the town staff, I want to thank you all for your professionalism, your patience, and your quiet excellence. You make the daily operations of this town look effortless. And I know it's anything but. And to the residents of South Berwick, I just want to thank you for caring, for showing up to meetings, letting us know what you're thinking, sending us those emails, but also for volunteering for the boards and other things that go on around town, and reminding us again what we really are here for. As I step away from the council, I do so with great confidence that where this town is going. South Berwick is full of talented, committed people, and they care deeply about this place. I'll continue to support and encourage all of that kind of creativity and collaboration, and I'm looking forward to what the future brings. And finally, I just want to say thank you to all of you for trusting me with this responsibility, and to thank you for your partnership and your patience, and also for your passion for what we call home. So thank you very much.
Would you like to adjourn your last meeting?
He has to.
As long as you sit down to it.
No, it goes to you, sir.
Madam Chair, I motion that we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
Good. Like you do that.